I'm going to see if I can find a place for it and then go download the app, and then we'll come back and see what we need to do. Okay, so there's not a really good spot in my house for this thing, so I did put it in the closet here. I had to take out a little shoe rack I had behind it, but I can shorten that and put it on the rest of the wall there. But I have an outlet in this closet that I use for my Dyson handheld vacs, so I figured this might be a good spot, and there's plenty of room for it to get in and out. The only problem is, according to the instructions, you need to have 1.5 feet on both sides of it and 4 feet in front. So there's enough room, but it's definitely not a 1.5 feet on each side, especially on this side against the doorway. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to work or not, or if that's just you know, the recommended distance, but it'll still work otherwise, because there's no good spot in my house otherwise. The only other place is probably the kitchen, and that doesn't have an outlet nearby that I can actually plug it into, so I'd have to run a cord, so that would be like really ugly. So again, this is something you really want to consider before you buy this model, because if you don't have a place to have this and you don't have a good you know, 12 square feet around it, it might be a problem. So we'll give it a test and see what happens, if it'll still work or if it doesn't. But if not, we might have to come up with either some other location for it, or maybe have to return it for the model without the auto emptying feature. So that's where we're at. Okay, I downloaded the iRobot app because that's the next thing the quick start instructions said. So it just says welcome to, and select your country. So it has United States as default, so I'm just going to hit continue here. You got the standard terms, policies, accept. And now it wants me to create an account. So of course, like everything else, you got to create an account. So let me fill in all this information and I'll be back. Okay, I pushed those two buttons. They're actually just touch buttons. And I got a tone, and now it's sort of pulsing blue. So let's go back to the app. Okay, so I'll check this little box as I press the buttons, continue. And then it says we found one robot, Roomba i755020, tap to set up. And it says it's connecting to the Wi-Fi. It says it could not connect, there was a problem. Alright, say okay. And it took me back to that same spot where you hold the buttons for 2 seconds. Alright, let me go try this again.
To work.
Okay, so it finally did, I think I wasn't just patient enough, because it didn't look like it was doing anything, but it did finally say completed. It said the robot's set up and ready to go, and then of course the first thing I get is there's a new software update for it. As usual, everything gets a software update. So there's a little button here that says start update, so we'll hit that. It says update in progress. It's got a downloading bar here. It says keep the iRobot on the base. During the update, we'll let you know it's finished. So I'll let this thing continue on, and we'll come back once it's finished. Alright, we got everything updated, and apps installed, robots connected, everything's good to go. So the last step for setup is if you want to connect it to your smart home. So in my case, I'm using the Amazon Echo system. So you're going to just open up your Alexa app. And then once you're open up in your Alexa app, on your main menu there, you're going to go to skills. You can do a search for the iRobot home skill. I already have it set up here. So there it is right there, iRobot Home. So all you're going to do is enable that skill, and that's pretty much it. As far as the settings go, there's just the account linking, and that's it. So there's nothing in there except to link your account. So that account that you created, the iRobot account, you just link it and enable that skill. And then it'll have a couple things here. There's not super complicated skill. Basically, you're just asking it to do these commands. So you can do these simple commands here, which is just to say, Roomba to start cleaning, Roomba stop cleaning, Roomba to go home, ask what it's doing currently, where it is, You can schedule a cleaning. You can remove a scheduled cleaning. You can ask it when it's going to clean next. And those are its basic commands that you can use pretty much with any of the iRobots, not just this one that are smart home enabled. The iSeries allows you to do something else, something additional, and that goes back to that imprint smart mapping I was showing you earlier, which is the room names. You can actually say with the iSeries through Echo or Google Home to clean a specific room. So you can say Roomba clean this room or whatever it may be, and it'll only do that room based on that map and those boundaries that you have. So you get that one extra sort of command where you can actually tell it to do a specific room. And that's only because the iSeries has that imprint map in it.
Oil,
and that's why.
directional volume.
So that's it. So simple commands that you can remember really easy. Probably the main ones you're just going to use are start cleaning, stop cleaning, go home, and then maybe a specific room. And that's pretty much it. So set that up in your Amazon or Google Home and you're set to go. Okay, now that we got the robots set up, we went through the basic setup. Let's just review the app real quick. I've done a couple of runs, and so now that I have it all sort of set up and ready to go, let's just review it real quick. It's actually a pretty simple app. There's not a lot to it. You've got a menu up here that you can touch that will show you all the Roombas that you have on your account. Lets you add a robot, talks about the smart home. So for instance, if I go under the actual robot itself, just takes me to the main screen to control that robot. If I go to add a robot, just lets me go through the process of adding a robot. Smart home basically means you can connect it with either Alexa or Google Home or IFTTT actually. I have it connected with the Alexa, so I enable that skill. It was really easy. You just go to your Alexa app and download the iRobot skill and enable it, and you're pretty much done. And then account and privacy, that's just your actual account. So you do have to create an account because it does send all this information to iRobot. So just be aware of that. It'll send maps and everything and probably all the information to iRobot. So your floor plan of your house. So you gotta be careful with privacy and that if you're concerned about that kind of stuff. Which is what this account and privacy is. You get notifications that you can have set up here. So you can, as it finishes its jobs, cleaning errors, bin is full, updates, all that kind of stuff can be sent right to your phone. So you can turn those on and off. Standard privacy settings. There's store if you need to order like more bags or brush heads or something that needs a replacement.
Even hour 12.
Of course, the app version, and then they actually have iRobot Beta, which if you want to sign up for that, you can actually become a beta tester for either, I guess, the software or whatever for new stuff they're trying out. So I'm not interested in that. I just like when things actually work. So on the main screen here, you'll just have the name of your robot. I named it HAL after the movie 2001 Space Odyssey. It'll tell you it's ready to clean and fully charged, so it gives it status at the top. It's hard to see on this because it's in light gray, but it's there. You have this big clean button in the center, and then at the bottom here you've got preferences, history, schedule, smart maps, and more. So preferences, there's not a lot underneath here. You got one choice, which is basically how many cleaning passes would you like. You can either be automatic so that the Roomba sees how much dirt is on the floor and will decide if it's going to be a single pass or more passes. You can force it to one cleaning pass, or you can force it to 2 cleaning passes, whichever you like. So I just left it on automatic, so you just have that one choice for preferences. History, when you hit that, will show you all your cleaning jobs that you have today, and you know how many square feet it cleaned and how long it took for each job. So you can see here's a job I did today for 6 minutes. Here's a job that says stuck. I actually pulled it off the base because I was cleaning the bottom and stuff like that. But it'll tell you all your different jobs, and you can go into any of, like if you click one of those jobs, then it'll show you in a map exactly where it actually cleaned. So anything in green is where it cleaned, and the gray is where it did not clean. And then it always shows you where it's located, its home base. So every time you do a run, you'll get a map of exactly where it cleaned. And that's what the history shows you. The schedule is where you can actually schedule this. Now this is the best part of the package, because that's what you really want to do, is just schedule it a certain time of day to go clean certain areas, and you never have to worry about cleaning your floors again. We're going to get into how well it cleans the floors, but I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, it does an amazing job cleaning. I can't believe it, actually. I was really shocked. So, but I have two schedules right now. I got one for the hallway, which is the room that gets the dirtiest, because that's where the front door is and coming in and out and everything. So every day at 9 a.m. it's going to clean the hallway, and then 3 times a week it's going to clean the kitchen. So I have two schedules set up right now, and you can turn them on and off with these little sliders. So if you turn them on, then when you go into that schedule, you can adjust the time, you can adjust which days of the week it does it, if it's just a one-time thing or a weekly thing, and then you can choose your rooms. So you can see here I got these 4 rooms laid out: living room, kitchen, hallway, and dining room. And that's because it mapped out the rooms. After you did like 4 or 5 cleaning jobs, it maps out the rooms, and then you can actually delineate your rooms and then divide it when you want it to clean. So this is really nice. So every day it's going to clean the hallway for me, which is not a big area, but it's nice that it's going to be clean every day, and I don't have to have the robot running around the entire first floor. I'm able to like just narrow it down to one specific room quickly every day. So really nice. And then anytime you hit save or you do anything in here, you'll hear a beep on the actual robot, and it's pretty instantaneous, so there's no delay. So you can turn these things on and off as you need to, and if you're going away on a trip or something, then you can turn them off so it's not running while you're gone, things like that. So that's the schedule part, which is really nice. Now, this is the big part with the I-Series robots, which is these smart maps. So in the previous generation, they did map the rooms like the history showed you right there, but it lost its map every time it finished a run. So every time you ran it the next time, it would overwrite and you'd get a new map. So it never remembered anything. This new generation does remember, and it has these things called smart maps, and they call it imprint mapping. So basically, at the bottom here, you have 2 choices. You get clean and map now, or start a training run. And the training runs are basically if you just want it to map out your floors and you don't want it to vacuum yet, because you just want to get the maps so then you can divide it all up. Now, you're going to have to do at least 4 to 6 runs before you see the map appear. So at first I thought there was a problem with the software, but it turns out that you actually have to, 1 run is not enough. It has to go through the rooms multiple times till it finally comes up with a map. I called support and they explained it to me, and then on the 4th run it actually came up. So, but you will see it come up once it actually gets generated, and you can see I have one up here. I named it main floor, 4 rooms, and there's my layout basically. So I've got this hallway, the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room, and you can see these lines in between each one, and that's what delineates the rooms. And so after the robot gets done mapping everything, it guesses at the rooms. Now, it could be wrong. So they did the living room and the hallway, it kind of put together as one single room, which I didn't want. The dining room and the kitchen, it did delineate correctly in the living room, but it put these 2 together. So there's a little 3 dots at the top here where you can say rename the map, edit the map, rename the rooms, or delete the map. So if I edit this map, okay, you can see it has these green bars in between the rooms, and you can move these dividers around. You can make them bigger, smaller, so that you can basically delineate these rooms. And so that's what I did. I added this green bar here between the living room and the hallway. It already had the one between the kitchen and this hallway, but it didn't have the one here. So anytime I run this, it was going to run this whole big room. So now I can actually just run the hallway. Now what's nice about this is on the I-Series, if you have Alexa or Google Home, you can actually just say it and it will actually just clean that room. So you could say just clean the hallway or just clean the kitchen and it'll actually do that. Which I'll give you a demo of how that works. It's really kind of cool. So now that it's been all mapped out and delineated, you can use these dividers. Now, what would be really nice is if you could take other lines inside the map and like block off certain areas that you don't want the robot to go near. So for instance, in the dining room, you can see the sort of lightest gray area here. That means that's where the robot didn't clean. So that is the dining room table and chairs there. And I actually have a set of dining room tables and chairs that the robot sort of wants to run up on because of the type of stands of the chairs. They're not regular 4 legs. So because of that, I don't want it running up on these chairs because it's going to actually probably damage them or mar them up. So it'd be nice if I could just put a box around the dining room set and not have it hit that. So I haven't tried that yet. I'm going to try to put some of these lines here, but I'm pretty sure it's going to make the line go the entire length of the room and it's going to cut off the room, so that may not work. So there is another way to get around this. They have those little invisible barriers that you can set up and use if you needed to. But at least now I don't have to worry about it running up and damaging the table or the chair bases, because I can be around when it's actually cleaning the dining room. Like now that I have it all separated out and I don't have to just do the entire first floor. Okay, so you'll be able to do that. When you click this add divider, it gives you this map here, and you've got a couple tools down at the bottom where you can delete a divider, you can turn a divider this way or that way depending which way you want it, and then you can place it wherever you want it in the map. So, and then at the top here, under those 3 little dots again, you can also rename the overall map. So you can have the Roomba map different floors in your house. So this is the main floor of the house. If I take the Roomba up to the 2nd floor, then I could have it run up there. It'll make a new map, and then I can name that map like 2nd floor or whatever one I do. You can also name the rooms whatever you want. Now when you click when you actually are on the rooms and you want to name them, it will actually give you a whole list of predefined rooms already. And then when you can pick them off there, or they have a choice where you can do a custom name, whatever you want. So you have total control. The other thing the map shows you is the home base there, which is where the Roomba is actually located. So you'll be able to see where that is, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so this imprint smart mapping is the main new feature of the I series, in addition to the more powerful suction and improved navigation that's part of that series. And then the other thing is they have a more button right here, which there's a care button right here. So it talks about, you know, if you want information on how to care for your robot, debris extractors, all different kinds of stuff there. There's the help, which is just getting the online help of how to do things. And then you have a settings button here, which that's where you can name your robot. Tells you the version it's on, tells you the version of the clean base, your Wi-Fi settings, language, your bin behavior. So if I click on that, you can see it says pause cleaning when full. So if it says the bin is full, the Roomba will return to where it started and pause its cleaning job. And once it's empty, then it'll then you press clean to resume it. Or you can say keep cleaning when full, and it'll always finish its cleaning job even if the bin becomes full in the middle of the job. So because I have the i7 Plus, the one with the automatic emptying feature, if you leave it on pause cleaning when full, it'll go back to the base, it'll actually empty itself, and then it'll keep going and finish its cleaning job. So you want to leave it on that if you have the i7 Plus. If you just have the i7, then you have a choice of which one you want there. They have this map privacy right here. So if you, of course, don't turn this on, you can't do your smart mapping, but if it would protect you from your floor plan being sent to iRobot. So If you mind your floor plan being sent to iRobot, then you probably want to turn that off, but you won't be able to do all the features with the smart mapping. They have a reduced power standby mode here. So it'll take you actually out to the iRobot help. It explains what it means and the different buttons you push to get that. I don't really care about the reduced power standby, so I'm leaving that. There's a factory reset if you're having some kind of problem and you have to reset it. And then you can also remove the robot if you need to. Now, one thing I did find out, this is on my iPad, as you can see. I wanted to put it on my iPhone because obviously when you get an app from Apple, it automatically downloads to all your devices. When I tried to open it up from my iPhone, it was prompting me to like re-add the robot again. So it looks like you can only have this on one device because somehow it's communicating with the app directly with that robot. So it doesn't look like you're going to be able to have the app on multiple iOS devices, just one. So you have to pick one, whichever one you want it on. So I haven't found a way around that yet. So those are all the buttons at the bottom, and then there's this empty bin one, which is sort of a manual. Like if you want to empty the bin, you can push that button, and if it's on its base, it will empty. You have the big clean button in the middle here, so when you hit the clean button, basically you can just say clean all rooms, or if you choose your rooms, then you can actually select which room you want, and that's on the main floor. So once I map the second floor, then there'll be another main bar here for second floor and all the individual rooms under that. And again, you can decide, if you want to manually use the app to tell it which room to clean. But the best part about this is you don't even have to use the app. You can either just say it through your smart home device like Alexa or a Google Home, so either the Echo devices or Google Home. Or you can schedule it so it just automatically does it by itself. So we're going to do a quick demo here of what it looks like when you just use Amazon's Echo system to just tell it to clean an area. And then I'm going to show you when it's cleaning, how it actually moves around the room. So we're just going to do a small area. We're just going to do the hallway real quick. But we're not going to use the app here. We're just going to use our voice to start it. And then you'll see how that works. But this is the, basically, that's all the stuff that's in the app. So there's not a lot there. It's not a very complicated app. Pretty simple, straightforward. So here's the Roomba is cleaning right now. And it's doing its mapping of the room. And you notice when it comes to the edge here, it doesn't go over because it has an edge for the cliff sensor. It's not too loud. So what it does is it keeps turning just a little bit until it finds the edges, and eventually what it'll do is it'll go around the entire perimeter of the room with the brush, which is on the one side only, and it'll go through the entire edge to pull out all the dirt from the edge. If you'd like to see how it's going underneath the fridge right here, and it sort of zips around, and it finds the edge as close as it can get to get that little brush underneath there. So right now it's going along the edge. So just before, it was actually just going sort of close to the edge, but not on the edge. But once it finds the perimeter of the room, then right now you can see it's going along the entire edge of the baseboard. So it'll be, you'll think in the beginning that it's not going to get to the edges, but eventually it finds the edges. And it starts recognizing the rooms, because it's already done the dining room, so see how it turned around? But it has to keep basically bumping into all the little edges so it can find the corners of the room. So this will go right around the garbage can here, around the whole pedal and everything, and it'll just keep wrapping around. It'll go around the water bottles and everything that's on the floor, right? And it just keeps finding the edges. So you really don't have to remove anything from the floors. The only thing that you have to be careful of is cords, if you have cords laying on the floor. But you can see how it's going around the whole edge, right? It just wraps around the corners and the edges to make sure that that little brush on the one side basically pulls out all the dirt out of the edges. Now, this is my first cleaning run, so it has to map all the rooms first. And notice how it did not go over the edge there because there's a cliff there. There's a step down right there and it didn't go over the edge. So now it looks like it's going back to its base. Which is right inside here. So the vacuum just shut off, so now it's just trying to get up to its base, it looks like. So it's done with its cleaning. So it's on its base, and that's pretty much it. So now we can check to see what it picked up here. So let me pull out the tray, which I think is just right here. I'm not sure how it comes out exactly. Oh, there's just a push button right here. And you can't, oh my gosh. You probably can't see it, but it's actually pretty full.
Reinstall the bin, then press clean.
So now we're going to try the auto emptying feature. So I think, I can't remember which it is now. I have to go look at the instructions. In the app there's a button to empty it, so let me go pull up the app and see if it works that way. I thought it was automatic when it came onto the base, but it may not indicate that the bin is full yet, so it may be just when it's full. But let me go grab the app. Okay, so remember earlier when I was saying I wasn't sure it was going to work inside this closet here? It actually does. And you can see I actually put the shoe racks back up on the wall here, just made them a little shorter, and so it's in here pretty tight. There's not a lot of room on each side of the robot, but it comes in here, out of here fine, works perfectly. So I think those dimensions they give you in the instructions are suggestions. I am on the first floor though, and the Wi-Fi signal here is super strong, so you know that's the other thing to remember. If you put it someplace and you have a weak Wi-Fi signal, then you could probably have problems. But for now, it's working good right where it is. So it's in the closet here. Now, of course, I have to have the closet door open for it to work, so that's the only thing I have to remember. But besides that, it's nice because it's sort of out of the way here. So we're going to do a quick demo of this hallway, which you can see is just a tiny little hallway to the front door. Goes off to the living room here, so just right there and then over to here. And this is actually a step down into a different room, so it's not going to go any further than this this ledge here. And we'll show you kind of how it cleans. But what we're going to do is we're going to not use the app or the buttons on the robot. We're going to use the Echo system. So we're just going to tell it to do the hallway. So all you're going to do basically is on the Echo system, you're going to say, now my keyword is computer, so computer, tell Roomba to clean the hallway.
Okay, Hal will clean the hallway.
So it said Hal will clean the hallway, and you can see it's already come out of its charging base there, and it's starting its clean. The little edge spinner just started up in the vacuum. And you can see it slowed down just before it came to the door. So each time it cleans, it remembers more and more about the room that it's in. Now, what's interesting about it is when it starts cleaning, you think it's going to miss a lot of stuff because it goes basically sort of back and forth, up and down, but it's not close to the edges, so you figure that it's not going to clean the edges of the room. In fact, that this robot actually does clean the edges of the room, and it's the last thing it actually does before the cycle ends. And it actually does an unbelievable job of picking up everything. I was really surprised like how well these actually do clean. Like there's really no difference than if you're using a regular vacuum, because that little brush that sticks out the side actually does pull all the stuff in from the baseboards and the corners. Now you notice it's just going back and forth here, and it's pretty much missing the baseboards and the edges right now. It's not really getting close to them yet. And you'll notice as it like does the room a couple times, it will start learning a pattern. Initially though, you'll see it'll be kind of all over the place because it's just trying to learn where everything is, the edges. And now you can see I'm getting close to the edge here. Okay, so now it's hitting this edge here, and now look at it, it's going along the baseboard. And notice how it slows down just before it comes to the baseboard. So it starts learning so it doesn't bang into it so hard. But initially, you'll notice when it's doing its thing, it'll like sort of bang into things until it learns where things are. So right now, it's just cleaning the main floor area. That's all it's doing right now. And you notice how it's staying inside the room here because it's only doing the hallway. So I have the line that's just, it's sort of like just a little bit in the living room. Okay, so now it's really looking along the baseboards right here. So it's right along the baseboards right now. And it gets to the corner, it turns a little bit. It's going to be right against the door. So that little brush on the side is pulling all the dirt in. And it's going all along the edge now. And notice how it does not go over the edge of the step down here, because it's got a cliff sensor on it.